Beauty Babies, welcome to my channel. I am Maria, aka Agape Love Girl. Thank you so much for joining me today. Well, today I'm here to share with you a custom green-blue palette that I put together using all MBA Cosmetics eyeshadows. This is the palette. I really love the way this palette turned out. I will have a closer look at the palette and some swatches to share with you of this palette later on in this video, but I just want to mention it really quickly. Some of you guys may or may not have guessed, but this palette was inspired by the infamous Tarte April Fool's prank palette Icy Betch. Now, if you're involved in the beauty community in any way, I'm sure you heard or saw about the uproar that everybody had over this April Fool's joke, where the joke turned out to be on Tarte, because I don't know if they just thought there wasn't going to be an interest for this palette, or maybe they were just trying to test the waters to see what people would think of this kind of palette, but people were not happy that this turned out to be an April Fool's joke and not a real palette. Now, I wasn't someone who was like super upset about it, but I did think it was a very weird joke. I mean, clearly they put a lot of thought into it, because the palette, like, I don't know if it was a real palette or if it was just like CGI that they put together to create this palette, but it looked real and it actually looked really beautiful. Now, I'm not someone who wears a ton of cool tone shadows, namely blue shadows, so I wasn't like super like upset about this not being a real palette, but I did find that to be really odd. And as well, I was actually drawn to the palette. I thought it was very unique, very beautiful. I love the packaging design with the like diamond-esque looking cover, and then the colors just look beautiful. I mostly like the pop of green in there, which is where I kind of took a lot of my inspiration for this palette. I leaned a lot more green in my palette than blue, because like I said, I don't wear blue a ton, so that's why my palette is more of a green blue palette rather than a blue green palette. But I did want to pull together a variety of different tones of green, and then a couple blues, and then a couple pops of yellow in there, just to kind of show you the variety that MBA Cosmetics has. And I know I'm a little bit late to the game on this, that being something that was shown in April and it is now June, but it did take me some time to kind of look through the shadows that I wanted. I did purchase these and then put them together and kind of like arrange them how I thought would look really nice, just to be able to show you. But when I saw that palette and saw that it was, you know, not a real palette, and there were so many people upset, and realized there was such a desire for those types of colors, I thought, you know what, MBA Cosmetics, which a lot of you guys already know I work for, is a really great brand. I love their shadows. I say this all the time. I feel like their Silk Effect shadows especially are a hidden gem that more people need to know about. They're very affordable and such good quality, and I thought, you know, I'm going to put this palette together and show you guys the awesome options they have, because they have such a wide variety of colors and shadows and shades. There's just so much more. Even beyond this, there's a lot more blues, so if you're someone who is really wanting those blue shades, they have more blues in there, and there's just so many more options. But this is just one I wanted to put together that was similar but also a little bit different. And I will just let you know right now, the shadows are $4.50, so it's like super affordable. That is if you buy them pan only like this to put in your own palette. If you want to have them in a compact, like their own little compact, they are $6. But I love, and I'm sure a lot of people love, just buying singles, pan only, to put in your own custom palette like I did. Now, this palette can fit more shadows in there, but I just wanted to space them so it looked a lot more pretty, I guess I should say. But this palette is actually an MBA Cosmetics magnetic palette as well. You can purchase. It has the MBA Cosmetics logo here, and then inside has this really pretty holographic quote on it that says, "Dream big, sparkle more, shine bright." It's a really cute, very sturdy magnetic palette, and it is just $14. Now, for those who don't know, I do have an affiliate code with them, so if you use code agapelovegirl, all caps, on the website, you can get a 15% discount on these, making these even more affordable. And you can use that code anytime you make a purchase, and oftentimes even during sales, which is amazing. Like, not many companies allow you to use discount or affiliate codes even during sales, but you definitely can, so you can get the most bang for your buck when you are purchasing from MBA Cosmetics. Now, before we get into a closer look at this palette and a little bit more about these shadows and the swatches, I just want to let you know really quick that the makeup I'm wearing today, the eye makeup, is a look I created with the shadows in this palette. Of course, I want to, you know, demonstrate a look using these shadows. I did not film a tutorial because I just did not have the time to do that today, but I will do that in the future if you would like to see me recreate this look as a tutorial. But I just, you know, I have some up close footage to show you guys what it looks like up close if you'd like to see that. But if you want to actually see them in action, how they perform, I can do a tutorial. Just let me know if you'd like to see this same look or if there's any other colors from this palette that you'd like to see me create a look with, and I can definitely do that. But this look was just a very simple look, but I really like the way it turned out, and I'm really surprised just because, like I said, I don't wear a lot of blues or cool tone shades that often, so they're just not something I gravitate towards, but I think this look turned out really pretty. So I would love to do a tutorial if you guys would like to see that. But basically all I did was put a little bit of this shade, which is Azure. It's a bright blue, a matte shadow, and that's in my crease, my kind of transition. Then I use this matte deep blue shade, which is actually called Deep Sea, I believe, and I use that just a little bit lower into my crease, and then I place this Silk Effect shadow all over my lid. And these two shades are pretty much exactly the same shade, except for this one's matte and this one's more of a satiny, shimmery, almost metallic-y kind of shade. Well, not quite metallic, but satin shade. And then of course I have this purple shade on my lower lash line. This is the shade After Party. And anybody's curious about anything else, I do have in my waterline the Aqua XL eyeliner pencil from Makeup Forever in the shade M22. It's just a blue purpley indigo color. I did have to do a pop of glitter on my lid as well, just to kind of glam it up just a little bit, and for that I used another MBA Cosmetics product. This is one of their Bling It On liquid glitters in the shade Supernova, which is just a silver holographic glitter that's really pretty. I'm not sure if the holographicness of it will show up really well on camera or in the footage I took, but it's a really beautiful shade in person. Additionally, for my highlight, the inner corner highlight is my brow bone highlight, is just the highlight I used on the rest of my face, which is the Ciate London Glow 2 highlighter in the shade Starburst. I was going to put an MBA Cosmetics shadow on for my, you know, inner corner and brow bone, but I was just being lazy and decided just to throw, you know, what was on my face onto my eyes as well. And then I'm not wearing lashes today, surprise, but I still love the way this looks without lashes. See, and there you go. I say this a lot, but you don't have to have lashes to, you know, create a look. You could still have a really beautiful glamorous look with just mascara. But I'm using this one that's fairly new to me. This is the Touch and Soul Stretch X mascara. I really like it. It's a really good mascara. But anyways, that's the details on my look today. So definitely let me know if you'd like to see the tutorial on this, or I can create something different. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and get into the swatches. Now, just to let you know, these are all finger swatches. I didn't do brush swatches because sometimes I do brush swatches, but for this video I just wanted to kind of do kind of more quick swatches. These shadows perform really well with the brush, but that doesn't always translate when doing brush swatches. How you apply shadows onto your eye versus how you swatch shadows onto your arm is pretty different, and you guys just have to kind of take my word for it that these perform really well with a brush on the eye, I promise you. If you don't believe that, just go ahead and check back any of my videos featuring MBA Cosmetics, and you can see for yourself that they apply really well. So just to save myself some time, I swatched these with my fingers. And then also there were a couple, like especially the matte shades, that didn't really swatch that well with fingers, and it just is what it is. That doesn't mean they don't perform. Like one of them that swatched I think the worst was this matte Deep Sea shade, but that's one of the ones I have in my crease, and it goes on beautifully, it blends beautifully with a brush on the eye. But swatching with my finger, it's a very pretty dry matte, so it just didn't swatch very well, but it still works really well on the eye. So there is that. Let's go ahead and get into the swatches. Up first for swatches is navy, and navy is described as a deep dark navy blue. Up next for swatches is the matte shadow shade Deep Sea. As you can tell, this one doesn't swatch very well at all, but it performs really well on the lid. Next up is the shade After Party. This is the Silk Effects shadow, and After Party is a vivid, bright, and bold purple. Then we have Jealous, which is a very vibrant and intense green. Next up is another Silk Effects shadow. This is the shade Dewdrops, which is a soft and shimmery mint pastel green. Moving on to a couple more matte shades, we have Azure, which is a bright blue. There's no description on the site, but as you can see, this one swatches really well and is very pigmented. Next up is Caution. Again, no description on the website, but as you can see, it is just a gorgeous, vibrant matte yellow. Moving on to a Silk Effects shadow. This is the shade Lemondrop, which is a bright lemony yellow. Moving on to more of the green shades. Up first we have Toxic. I love this shade. It's so pretty. Now Toxic is described as a very intense, vivid, and bright golden green. I'm not sure if you can tell, but it definitely has that golden reflect in it that is just so pretty. Next up is a matte shade. This is Spanish Moss, which is just a kind of dark mossy green shade. Then we have a Silk Effects shadow. This is the shade Twisted, and this is described as a medium deep cool green. Moving on to another Silk Effects shadow. This is the shade Wasabi, and this is described as a light shimmery green with a yellow undertone, and this is another one of my favorite green shades. And then we have another matte shade. This is the shade Soldier, which is just your typical army green type of shade. And then another Silk Effects shadow. This is Wild Olive, which is described as a gorgeous metallic-like shimmery light golden green. And last up is the Silk Effects shadow in the shade Dirty Martini. Now this is described as a very intense, super pigmented antique gold with a brownish green undertone. This is another really gorgeous one. I really think these last three, especially Dirty Martini, Wild Olive, and Soldier, would just pair well for just a gorgeous look. Ugh, I love these ones. Alright, and that's it. That is my green-blue custom MBA Cosmetics palette. I really hope you guys enjoyed this palette that I put together and learning a little bit more about MBA Cosmetics and their shadows. And I hope you feel inspired to definitely check out MBA Cosmetics. It's such an amazing brand that I just feel like needs to be discovered by more people. It's truly a hidden gem. They have such a huge variety of eyeshadow colors, more than just this, and just so many amazing products. You just gotta trust me, go check them out. You can use my discount if you want to save a little extra money, but if you're not comfortable with that, that is totally fine. These products are already affordable as is. But anyways, I do hope you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed this palette that I put together. Definitely let me know what you thought about these shades. Let me know which ones were your favorite and if you are going to be picking up any. And don't forget to let me know if you'd like a tutorial on this look. And with all that being said, I just want to thank you so much for watching. And until next time, much love and hugs to you. Bye, beauty babes. Mwah!